I mean, you've kind of already talked about these, Matt, but yes, right. Some Blizzard people are going to Taylor Swift. Mike let us know, so that's good to know.
That's I'm very happy to hear that for them, as long as they don't get hurt in the earthquakes, because I don't know if anyone's seen that, but apparently Taylor Swift concerts are so big and there's so much that goes on that they register as seismic events.
That's wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they cause earthquakes and inflation.
Yeah, they do.
I thought that's what all the angry fundamentalists thought the gays did. But no, it turns out it's Taylor Swift after all.
Yeah.
Gosh, you'll have to inform a few Northern Irish politicians about that. Incredible. Yes, right. So Ybarra said that soon Chris himself and some other Blizzard people will be seeing Metallica, and they are very excited about BlizzCon. Now, we've had Thrall imagery, of course, show up in the key art for BlizzCon. If you didn't realize, Chris Metzen is Thrall.
In more ways than one, by the way. He literally voices him, but also he is like the most self-insert Warcraft I think
don't
has.
Know. Jim Raynor?
Warcraft has.
Yeah,
he's the most self-insert in Warcraft, and that's saying something because we all know that Thanos Black Color exists.
That's true, yeah. Basically, Chris Metzen is actually a character in two of the Blizzard universes. There isn't a Chris Metzen literally in Diablo 3. Or 2, or 1. At least that we know of.
You wouldn't want to be in Diablo games. That's all evil and bad. Wouldn't want that energy hanging over you. Obviously.
I mean, no, see, that's the thing. Original Chris was all, like, into the fucking dark shit. But, Heroes of the Storm, Diablo 3 era Chris was, like, a little bit more kind of like, I think it's like he refound his faith and then decided to go away from the big darkness. And then that's why, or one of the reasons why Diablo 3 is so bright and shiny and there's a worse art direction than 4. But maybe some people are going to start saying better gameplay, but that's kind of out of scope of today's video. Anyway, right, Chris Metzen will be doing something at BlizzCon, so will Holly. As for Holly, usually she's been doing the classic stuff. So if she is doing classic, the question is, will that be classic Cataclysm? The calendar certainly says so. However, we do, of course, know that Blizzard are sending out a lot of surveys, right, about what that version of classic is going to be like. Obviously, we had some changes with Wrath. I think you'd definitely expect more changes with Cataclysm, given Cata itself was a messy expansion in terms of how it was received.
I think almost everything in the surveys and all the discussions about that were very clearly, hey, we're going to tear this shit apart, put in what we think you like, don't put in what we think you don't like, change things in that way. I think they're very aware that Cataclysm was...
It's like Cataclysm's got like a year of content. You know? Like just some of its patches weren't that big.
Yeah, I think I honestly genuinely struggle. Like, to be fair, I think it was maybe the biggest break I took from World of Warcraft was maybe during Cataclysm. I think I played Cat at launch and didn't play again until the last patch.
Same.
So I think there's a little bit of like, okay, well, what was in there? And I'm like, oh yeah, it was the Bastion of Twilight, Firelands, and then Dragon Soul. Am I missing something? Was there more? And I literally don't remember now I think about it. I'm like, oh, and there's the Throne of the Tides was like, that was supposed to be a raid and it was cut or something. Like a load of cut content from it as well. How they wrecked all the questing zones by taking a new fun, speedy approach to questing, destroying all world building and lore. And then every time any character showed up, it was, hey, Thrall, here's your Jesus quest. You're like, all right, sure, sweet, no worries, fantastic. So I think it's the Abyssal Maw raid, yeah, that's what it's. Oh, yeah, Blackwing Descent and Throne of the Four Winds, yeah. See, it all just leaves my brain entirely.
Yeah, and there's other problems too. This is going way back, but the final patch doesn't really have world content in it. The final patch is the 3 dungeons plus the raid. Though I remember hearing that at one point, like the Well of Eternity stuff was supposed to be a raid, but then the dungeons ended up being so expensive that the raid basically just had to be asset reuse, kit bashing the raid, which is, I mean, pretty much exactly what that raid is. The raid, not End Time. Oh, the final. Dragon Soul? Yeah, Dragon Soul was not a well-liked raid at the time.
And I could see why, because it's, hey, here's a room here's a big tentacle room, here's another big tentacle room. Oh, okay, cool, sweet. Guess you ran out of money for that one. That said, I think the end time stuff is really cool, though.
Oh yeah. Cool trio of dungeons for sure.
Just a little bit kind of not out of nowhere because the plot was there, but they kind of felt a little bit thematically distant from what World of Warcraft was doing at the time, which I really liked actually. I liked seeing the echo of Tyrande and Bane and Jin and all that. That was actually like fun. And every now and again I go back and like look at the echo of Tyrande's abilities and go, how can I bring this into modern Loon speculation?
Yeah.
Because that's how my brain works. But yeah, it was... Yeah, if they do announce a Cata Classic, I expect it to be very different, I think.
Yeah, I think that could actually be exciting. So there's that. As for live, well, I did a video that you wrote on potential expansions. I hope it's Avalorn. Very much so. If it's not,
sure.
If it's not, I'll be fine. If it's big, like, you know, oh, the Void comes to us, I'll also be fine. That's kind of cool. Now that the actual game bit is something that they're doing right, I mean, if you think about how Blizzard kind of like iterates in games from expansion to expansion, the sorts of things they usually do, they get claps at BlizzCon. I feel like the common sense improvements on Dragonflight would all kind of be in a better direction. It seems like Dragonflight's just a good basis to build off. So it's like if you've got those boxes ticked, then I can definitely be quite openly excited for a new expansion. So who knows? Certainly a lot is pointing towards Void. A lot is pointing towards Void and Titan. And then I suppose there is just that, like, you know, crazy Avalorn or whatever, you know, Titan shit weirdness.
Yeah, it's all going to be not a continuation of Dragonflight directly. Like, here's more dragon stuff that you probably don't care about now. But it'll be very much the stuff that they've set up in Dragonflight being continued on. The same idea, the same stuff that they've been doing for... I can't remember exactly how it was worded back when they were talking about Dragonflight and Idea and how much they were happy and excited to, like, get into this era of Warcraft history in the 10,000 years between the Sundering and modern Warcraft, because there's a lot they could just fill in there. But then I also have, as we'll talk about shortly, an idea of what about before the Sundering? Because there was, you know, 10,000 years is a long time, but it's not the eternity before the Sundering,
yes,
which is a much bigger series of time. You could do more things there. So I'm, like you say, I'm kind of excited, but no matter what it's going to be, I trust them to make the game feel pretty good. And I trust them to have the same kind of quest quality we expect. Because, like, I saw the chapter titles, and we'll talk about these. I saw the chapter titles for the Night Elf Heritage Quest and the Forsaken Heritage Quest, and I didn't panic.
You didn't?
I saw them and went, you know what? I like what you're cooking. I'll have a seat at this table. Absolutely. No worries about it. So if they can do the same thing going forward, I'll be pretty happy with that. It's just I guess this is less for me at this point because I'm kind of happy with whatever, but more from can we get the people back? Can everyone flock back to World of Warcraft and give them the win that I think at this point they mostly deserve? And that'll be something marketable, something big, something, oh my god, that's big. Oh, wow, I want to play that. So can they do that with any of the ideas? And I think basically any of them can be done. It's just about, can you hit that bit of no one's confused, which when we talk about Overwatch 2, Blizzard may not be too good at that. And are people excited? And I think Void will do that for both, I think. Avalorn might have some people confused unless they just go, hey, it's like Mists of Pandaria 2, but metal. And we'll go,
yeah, which is why I think it would be a follow-up to a big Showdown expansion, perhaps rather than the next one. Because, you know, you'd be kind of having like 2 slow exploratory expansions in a row. Maybe they don't want to do that.
I imagine even if we go to Avalorn, it won't be, hey, this is slow exploratory stuff. This is us going, bah, we've kicked the door down. We're this like incredible new land, this crazy new land of all this stuff, and there's dangerous things, and we're fighting stuff. I imagine it'll be that as opposed to, hey, go to the peaceful lands of peace. And there'll be peace in the peaceful lands for a patch until something happens. I don't imagine they'll do that. But
yeah.
But either way, well, there's also our next theory that we'll talk about shortly. Because that's the other one. Where they might be Void, it might be Avalorn, might be back to the Black Empire.
Yes, you know what, I'm surprisingly here for the time travel insanity. Yeah. Which I think is how most people, it's like you hear more time travel, you think, oh fuck, oh no, but that's a pretty good idea.